What is going on, guys? It's your boy Sly Jordy, and welcome back to F1 23, my team career. If you didn't see last episode, it was the Imola Grand Prix. We did pretty good at the start, obviously, but it was definitely a track that I was uncomfortable around, and we eventually slipped down the order to finish in P12. But today is a track I am familiar with and have stated previously, having tried it in this game, has definitely improved over its previous versions. It is the Monaco Grand Prix, one of the biggest Grand Prix of all time, you know, and obviously we have the new livery here to sort of commemorate the special occasion. I've tried to put like the Monaco flag there. I just wish we could take one of the stripes off, obviously, or change some of the stripes individually. I can't believe, after years of people asking for a better livery editor since F1 2020, we still haven't got that. So very strange things. But yes, let's actually have a look at our R&Ds in progress. 2 of them since last episode actually failed, and that was the aerodynamics and the durability. Those failed. Those are going to be coming on the 1st of June instead. So will it be in time for the next Grand Prix, which will be Spain? Will they come in time for Spain? We'll have to find out. But yeah, we've had a decent season so far. Some big results. A P7 at Australia, a P4 at Miami. If you missed that episode, you've got to go check that one out. But we've also had some really low occasions, like the 21st in Bahrain, and of course the DNF at Baku. And obviously results where we sort of expected ourselves to be. P13 in Jeddah, a track that I'm not comfortable around. Imola, P12, another track I'm not comfortable around. This game, I mean, the last game I tried was F1 2020. So 23, obviously these are new tracks to me entirely, so I'm not fully comfortable around them. And I'm going to be honest, I think I'm more comfortable with Jeddah than I am with Imola. But either way, there was good reason for why we were pretty weak. We are not the best car in the grid. We're actually the worst in a lot of areas. But in terms of aerodynamics, we seem to be okay, I suppose. Let's actually have a look. So we're in the we're almost completely midfield in terms of the aerodynamics department, and we actually have some wheel rim covers that we could get at some point. So aero, we're doing pretty good at. The powertrain, of course, we've got the weakest powertrain of all the options. Can I actually have a look where we are? No, I can't, unfortunately. So I can't exactly see where we are in terms of the powertrain department. But the durability is also an area that we're struggling in as well. All the way at the bottom of the field, and you could probably tell by certain I mean, I don't know if the front wing has anything to do with it, but it's definitely something we're needing to improve. But the tyre wear is also a big deal as well. We went on the softs late towards Imola, and obviously we slipped down the order as a result. But yeah, we could take a lot of positives from Imola. Obviously, for a track I wasn't that comfortable around, we weren't that far away from the points, and we were in the points for the vast majority of the race. But yes, going into Monaco, this is going to be a completely different track, obviously, and we're going to have to, I mean, speed, it's not going to matter too much for us, you know. You need a lot of downforce going into Monaco, and in terms of that, I think that's what we pretty much focused on in the beginning phases of the game, of course, when you're answering the questions, at least in the aerodynamics department. But apparently in terms of the chassis, even though we've got more upgrades in that department than we do in aero, it's just not there for some reason. So in terms of contracts, we currently don't have enough to pay Drugovic's contract. Hopefully after Monaco we do, because I'm pretty sure that we're going to have to renew his contract around that point. So hopefully we get that done soon. We are improving his overall. I do think it's a little BS that Drugovic is weaker than the likes of Nick DeFries, Oscar Piastri and Logan Sargent. Like, Piastri and Sargent, these two were in F2 last year. Drugovich literally won the F2 world title last year. Why does he have a lower rating than Piastri and Sargent? I understand Sargent and Piastri might have more experience, but come on, in terms of everywhere else, they are way better than him, and I don't understand why. Drugovich is the F2 world champion. He's better than Piastri, he's better than Sargent, he's proven that. So why is he got less of a good rating compared? It makes no sense to me, but we are slowly improving his overall, of course. In terms of his focus, it's looking pretty good. I think what we need to start improving now is the race pace and the awareness, maybe the experience as well. We'll have to look in terms of the facilities. In terms of personnel, I am working on racecraft, awareness and focus. So the fitness center, that's coming on the 27th of May. So literally 2 days after Monaco. But without further ado, guys, that's a pretty long-winded intro. We're just about ready to get into the Monaco Grand Prix. Here we go. Okay, so here we are back in the data center. I've actually never properly took a look around. I do like the look of the place. I think I definitely prefer it over the previous. Although, the previous version, I kind of liked how you could see your teammate on the monitor opposite you. But I don't see Felipe anywhere, unfortunately. But as you probably may have already noticed, the race is going to have mixed conditions. So it could actually start raining. If we go over to the weather forecast here. So qualifying, Mark says, take a look at the new weather report for the weekend. Qualifying looks dry, but there's a real danger of rain within the race itself. A 92% chance. That is crazy. Might want to consider working on a higher downforce setup in practice. It'll slow us down in quali, but might be a good call if we do have a wet race. So a wet Monaco is ahead of us. Oh no. Well, here we are into our first qualifying lap on Monaco, and I was actually a little scared, really scared actually going into this, because in practice 3 I basically ran a bunch of qualifying laps, just like everybody else seemed to have, and we finished last out of everyone who ran a lap. The only one who didn't was Drugovich. So really not good. I wouldn't have even been surprised if Drugovich would have been faster than us as well. So really not into Q1 here. But here we go into our first ever lap, and we're going to have some recording skipping issues throughout this. Obviously it's not too bad for qualifying and stuff. It's quite bearable actually. I think one of them is actually just about to happen. I don't know though. I'll mention it when it happens. But it got really bad during the race to the point I might have to change just how I record my footage, of course. I think maybe during a pit stop I pause the game, stop the recording, start again. Because, I don't know, this PS4 recording skipping bug has been a pain in the arse for the last 2 years. The last 3 years, actually. I first experienced it just before the release of the PS5, so apparently Sony just don't care about the PS4 in terms of updates anymore. So yeah, it's not going to get fixed, so I'm just going to have to try and work my way around it, obviously. But this lap looks like it's pretty good. Lewis Hamilton comes over the finish line with the 1:13. We're going to see where we end up with. We've got 2 green sectors, but I don't know if that means anything since it's our first lap. But we are going to cross the line with a 1:13, which is good enough for P6 going into our final lap of Q1, which isn't looking the greatest. We haven't had the best of sector 2s, and we're down a few, like 3/10. We hit the wall a little bit of a corner cut, but we do get away with it, of course. And we have such a good sector 1, sector 3, sorry. Or we don't. We actually don't. I got confused with a later qualifying time, but yeah, not a good time. But our original one is actually still good enough for P10, so that's great. But yeah, in terms of the whole recording skipping bug issue thing, we're just going to have to find ways of working around it until I get the PS5. And I really don't mind it, because like, you know, I made plans years ago of just ending any series I was on as quick as possible and then doing most of my long series live. That's why I haven't really done much series at all on the channel other than this one, you know, that aren't live, you know. That's why the driver career is live, for example, because, you know, things like that, and you're gonna really discover it during the race. Luckily I'm commentating the whole time, so you won't really be able to tell, but the recording skipping issue got so bad later on that even the audio was like, the audio and the video went completely out of sync. Like it went from a recording skipping issue to a recording skipping issue with the video and audio going out of sync. It was like, it would be an absolute nightmare had I been one of those guys who record commentary while they're doing it, which I'm not. I'm recording commentary after the fact. But yeah, this is our first lap in Q2. Things are looking alright. I mean, the fact that we made it through to Q2 is quite surprising to me, quite honestly, because as you saw earlier, in practice 3 we were the slowest car in practice, but we crossed the line. It's good enough for the fastest lap, but not for long though, as George Russell also crosses the line and we fall down to a P2. And now, not doing so well in our second lap of Q2, but our final corner, our last sector was so good that we just turned it around. I don't know how that happened, but we turned it around, and it's good enough for a P4 in Q2. And that's where it stays. We actually made it through to Q3 in Monaco. I cannot believe it. So for this first lap in Q3, I really don't care where we're at. Like, a P10, starting at P10, at the very least, is incredible. So we're going to take a scrub set of tyres, good enough for P5, a 113.3. So now, we're going to see what we get on our final lap in Q3. We're going to see, like, wherever we can go, we're going to see how high we can get now, and we really want to get the best lap possible. And that was a great first corner, as you saw there, and we go in a green sector. We've got Carlos Sainz in front of us now. There's a recording skip right there. Trust me, it gets worse, but I was still able to salvage the video. But going into the hairpin, we're half a second up from our original time, so the track evolution is insane. But we're also having an insane lap right now, so yeah, we might be behind Sainz, but as long as the speed stays as it is, we're going to be completely fine. And we have an amazing corner there. Carlos Sainz is still in front of us. We're really needing a bit of space. We do break a little bit there, a little bit more than I would have liked, but we're still above our original lap by a whole second, which is insane. As we go into Sector 3 now, going into the final corner, this is going to be absolutely insane. A little bit on the curb there, but just under a second above our original time, and it's good enough for the fastest lap. It's a whole second, almost a whole second ahead of our original time, and it's good enough for P1. We're starting Monaco from pole position. We are the worst car on the grid, by the way, if the RND chart is anything to go by. And we are, whatever, we're starting P1, pole position, at Monaco. So we could be in line for our first ever win at Monaco. Wow.
That first opened in 1863, and of course a certain road race first held in 1929. There's no greater an occasion, no more valuable a win than the Monaco Grand Prix. We already see the lowest average speeds of the season here at the Circuit de Monaco, and they'll be even lower in the difficult conditions today. 19 corners make up this famous 2-mile track, and with the rain, it'll be even harder than usual to get the critical heat into the tyres. So don't be surprised if we see a safety car at some point during today's Grand Prix. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. It's the owner-driver then in pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Leclerc, Verstappen, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Gasly, Stroll, Bottas, Hülkenberg, Oscar Piastri, Tsunoda, Ocon, De Vries, Perez, Albon, Norris, Joe, Drugovich, Magnussen, Drugovich. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? Anthony Davidson, thanks for joining me once again for the Grand Prix. We should talk about Williams. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Well, there we go. This is it. First, you have to finish, says Michael Schumacher. So we don't. That's got two meanings. We don't want a DNF, and of course now we're wanting to finish first. So we look at these two strategies, and honestly, I think there's a chance. I thought there was a chance that the race would go to dries eventually. I thought it was long enough. So we decided to go with the one stop. Not even the one stop, because even if it stayed rainy, I wanted to make sure we were doing the whole race just with this one set of intermediates, just on the off chance. But even then, you know, it's very hard to overtake on Monaco, you know, and I'm good defensively anyway, so I don't really think we'll have much of an issue if we decide to do the whole race on the intermediates. But that's if the weather stays as it is. Obviously, it's not too much heavy rain. I don't think I've ever done a race on full wets on this game just yet. So do we even need full wets? Who knows? But yeah, Inters it is. Obviously, the whole grid starting. We got the two Mercedes behind us. Verstappen ended up in P5. We've not had a good grid position start, so we've had it reset. We're starting a little bit behind our box. So we're going to have to get a really good start, and the engineer tells me that as well. Lewis Hamilton lining up on P2. He's got to be licking his lips right now as we get onto the first lap of the Grand Prix. 5 red lights. And it's lights out and we're underway, and we do get a decent launch, but obviously so does Lewis Hamilton. And he's going to try and he's going to commit down the outside, and of course he's going to hit the wall. Like, you need to give me space. And of course George Russell takes advantage of it. He went down the inside, and obviously he's got in front of us now, and we need to get in front of him as much as possible. We've actually kind of muscled him out there. Really lucky that we didn't get any damage there. But going on to our first lap, that was really hectic to start off with. Hamilton's fallen to P5. I don't think he'll have to pit. He did hit the wall, but I didn't see any pieces of his wing fly off, so, you know, I think he'll be fine. He has fallen to P5, though. I don't know what he was trying there, if I'm going to be quite honest. His car was clearly not quick enough to, you know, do just that kind of overtake. Like, I don't know what he was thinking. Very uncharacteristic from the 7-time world champion. But yeah, here we go. And the car, I'm going to be quite honest, feels quite good on Inters, you know. This is our first wet race as well in the game, and it's at Monaco. Everything has just been coming out of left field today. I have no idea where all this is coming from, but we have really good pace on the Inters. We've actually pulled on Russell quite a bit, but he does dive a little bit down the inside. He really wants to get in front, and obviously he pays for that. We actually pull it to almost we pull it to over a second in terms of the gap, and we do set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix with a 1:30.5 or 6, I don't know. Again, I can't quite see, but Felipe Drugovich actually has to come into the pits. Our teammate has to come into the pits, and that's not good at all. We were really hoping he'd have a good race, but here we go, on to lap 7 now, and yeah, our pace on the Inters is very good. 5 seconds ahead of Russell, and going on to 7 seconds, and Felipe Drugovich actually sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Obviously he'll have a bunch of clean air in front of him, but that's a really good sign. That's showing that Drugovich is definitely improving in terms of his pace, in terms of how much effort we're putting into you know, our facilities. We could actually get Drugovich higher up the order there, and obviously he's setting fastest laps in Monaco, you know, again versus me, by the way. And on lap 10 he does it again. He does it again, and lap 11 he does it again. That's just absolutely insane. And we go on to lap 15 now. I ask the engineer about the weather. He says the radar is clear. He's not sure whether dries or inters are the best, but it's, as you can tell, it stopped raining entirely. We're 7.4 seconds ahead of George Russell. I don't think we need to worry. So I'm going to go to our used soft tyres from Q3. So the tyres that essentially got us pole position, and we're going to see if they can get us the win. We still have 12 laps to go, so this could be a big risk later on in the Grand Prix, especially if other people decide to go on the mediums. But we're going to pit now. We're going to pit early, like as early as possible, because the laps beforehand I was actually asking my engineer over and over again about the weather, if we can go on the dries, if it would be safe. And you know, when he said he wasn't sure, we were out on the crossover, whatever, I was obviously going to take that. So yeah, we're going to come out in P17, just behind Alexander Albon again. Can't get this guy out of my life, apparently. He's always there. He's always there since the first race. And obviously, look at all this issue in terms of the recording skipping. It is terrible. So I think in the episodes ahead, when we pit, I'm going to pause the game and, you know, restart the recording from there, obviously, so then we don't have this issue going forward, or as much anyway. But it is pretty bad, and luckily I am commentating over it, because if I was commentating in-game, it would be ruined. But this lap 17 is when people start pitting, so 2 laps after I do. I think the damage is already done. Our strategy is absolutely insane, because I mean, look at the track, it's quite dry right now. Some people still haven't pitted yet, and there's 6 people in front of us. And obviously, it's not until the next lap that they actually do that. But look at how dry Monaco looks now. I mean, look at all this recording skipping. But yeah, clearly, we made the right choice. We've set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix with a 1:22. So, yeah, our strategy, just like Arava likes to say, 300 IQ. And Felipe Trugovic sets a 2-second faster lap time than we did. So he's definitely showing some pace around Monaco now, but it is Max Verstappen who came out onto the mediums, and we get onto lap 20. He's caught up entirely. He is right up our arse, and luckily the highlights and the replays are a thing, because obviously at this point the recording skipping thing can happen at any point, and Verstappen gets so stressed out chasing us that he actually breaks off his front wing. So that's race over. That's race over for Verstappen. He's all the way at the back of the pack. And George Russell's going to dive up the inside here at lap 26. That's just absolutely insane. But he gets no damage. He really scared me, I'm going to be honest. I did not expect him to dive up the inside again. He did scare me a little bit, and we did have to just really focused there to stay in front. And now onto the last lap of the Grand Prix. Leclerc actually overtook Russell, so we're going to get on to this now. Lap 26, a replay of George Russell's dive bomb right there. It's almost side by side. We just managed to stay a little bit in front. We just managed to get onto the apex, and now onto the last lap. Leclerc is right on our arse, just like Russell was, just like Verstappen was, and we're going to go down the inside now to make sure that he doesn't dive bomb, and we're going to come home across the line to take our first win in F1, Sly Team Racing's first win, and of all places, it's at Monaco. That is just absolutely incredible.
Deliver this results, do you think?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Here comes your top 3 making their way down to the podium for what can only be described as a fantastic day for Formula One.
Well, as you can tell, the video and the audio are clearly out of sync at this point, but you know, it's still salvageable, and obviously we'll take some precautions going forward. But yes, our first ever victory in F1, and it's at Monaco, of all places, and we got a pole position as well. A perfect weekend, quite frankly. The strategy as well, pitting 2 laps to softs before everybody else. absolutely insane. I cannot believe how well Monaco worked out for us. It is so good, and we're gonna check out where Drugovic is. A P14, which isn't bad at all, and it really makes you think, doesn't it? What if he didn't have that crash on lap 1, or whatever happened to cause him to pit? You know, because he did pit a lap after us to go onto the medium, so a lap before everyone else as well. But man, it really makes you think, doesn't it? And that's great, because Drugovic is clearly improving now. We're clearly getting him to catch up to the pack in terms of his overall and everything. We move up to 7th in the driver's standings as a result of that, and we're P5 now in the constructors. So this is great. Obviously, we're carrying the team, but that's just how it is on the first race of the season. The first season, sorry. And somehow Bottas gets equal points to us, even though we took pole position and won and qualified ahead of him in qualifying. I don't know how that works, but we got one race remaining of that rivalry, so hopefully next time goes really, really well. But yeah, the next time we are playing F1 23 career, it will be for the Spanish Grand Prix. So a new layout there, but a bit of familiarity as well. So you know, after the last 3 races that were filled with uncertainty and not the most comfort, I mean, we were definitely comfy around the wet on Monaco, I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, Spain, I'm looking forward to it. But guys, thank you all so much for tuning in and watching this episode of F1 23 career, my team career. If you guys liked it, hit that like button as hard as you possibly can, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Until next time, peace.
We've lost one of the gears. The transmission is significantly damaged. We're down a gear, I'm afraid.